Discuss about Mamang Dai's poem. Okay, first of all, we know about the author about Mamang Dai. Okay, Mamang Dai, 1957, is a prominent poet, novelist, and journalist from Arunachal Pradesh. She belongs to the Adi tribe, and her works reflect the myths, oral traditions, landscapes, and cultural memory of Northeast India. She is one of the first major literary voices to represent Arunachal Pradesh in Indian English poetry. Her writing explores identity displacement, belonging, tribal history, and a fragile connection between humans and nature. She was worked with the Indian Administrative Service in Arunachal and also as a journalist. Her work include 2011 Padma Shri for Literature and Education, Sahitya Academy Award in the 2017 Board of Black Hill. Okay. Her poetry collection include river poems, The Realm of Time, The Legends of Fensam, etc. Now, introduction to the poem. Okay, obscure. An obscure place is one of Mamang Dai's most celebrated poems, drawn from myths, the myths, memories, and landscapes of her tribal homeland in Arunachal Pradesh. The poem blends history, oral tradition, violence, and displacement, and the hunting presence of the first. It connects the tribal communities, collective memory, and political disturbances and military conflicts affected Northeast India. Okay, जो tribal community, okay, as well as collective memory, उसके बारे में बताया गया है, and the military conflicts. Okay, the poem reveals how outsiders in the name of homeland bring violence and confusion and cultural loss and indigenous people. Okay, the repeated line, there are mountains, oh there are mountains, symbolizes both beauty and endless struggle. Okay, Mamang Dai uses a mixture and metaphor and landscape imagery and mythic tone to emphasize how past and present merge in tribal. Okay, now come to the summary of the poem. Okay, in simple, accurate, net oriented, as well as in your examination point of view. The poem describes a tribal community. ओके, जो पोएम है एक ट्राइबल कम्युनिटी के बारे में, अरुणाचल के आदि ट्राइब के बारे में बताया गया है. ओके, whose history begins from stories not written records. Okay, that is not written record. They are unsure of their first language and identity. They live among mountains and rivers, but despite exploring their land, and they cannot claim victory because something hidden and mysterious always troubled them. Strangers came to the village claiming they were fighting for the homeland. Their arrival, okay, caused fear, silence, and disturbance. Women with children were thought not to speak. Later, violence and destruction turned the village lifeless. Even prayers became hushed. Nature suffered too. The wildcat was killed and the sacred hornbill was buried. The people feel misled by the outsider words and pushed into a deeper confusion. Their land whips like the grass over their ancestors. Okay, grabs yet memories of beauty and remain. The poem ends with the repeated image and mountains and the reminder do not speak of victory yet. Okay, so terms of the poems: loss of homelands and identity. The tribe is fast and uncertain. Their oral history and language feel fragile in the face of modern political conflicts, colonial political invasion. Strangers come claiming glory of homeland, but instead bring fear, silence, and destruction. This reflects military occupation, insurgency, and political manipulation in the northeast. Okay, nature and landscape as memory. Mountain, rivers, grasslands, and hornbill will cat, and these natural elements represents the tribe's identity, beauty, and grief. Silence and fear. Women hide their faces and children cannot speak. Prayers become silent, symbolizes loss of freedom and growing tension, and displacement and cultural erasure. Strangers' words lead the people into a mist and struggle, loss, and cultural clarity. Okay, traditional and self-understanding. Then cyclical struggle. The poem begins and ends with the same lines and climbing mountains, sleeping by rivers, and showing history repeating itself, and the ongoing struggle for survival, memory, myth, and oral tradition. The poem highlights the how indigenous communities preserve their identity through stories, not written history.